Oh. Pancake making robot, hold on. Watch this. I'm gonna mess with it and try to throw it off. I deliberately interfere with the task, and the robot just keeps going. This robot is Panbot. If you're curious how this pancake cooking robot works, watch to the end. Alright, so here's the whole pipeline. It's 3 tasks, with a couple of vision gates that decide when to move from one stage to the next. I basically broke pancake making into 3 chunks. Task 1 is pouring, Task 2 is flipping, and Task 3 is plating. Task 1 is batter pouring, and I run that with a manual joint waypoint routine. Pouring needs a clean, hard stop, so deterministic control just makes more sense there. For Task 2 and Task 3, I use ACT policies learned from demonstrations. Flipping and plating have a ton of variation, like spatula angle, pancake position, and contact timing. So learning it from data is way more robust than hard-coding one perfect trajectory. And because each stage is gated by a vision-based success or termination signal, the full pipeline stays pretty manageable and pretty safe. To connect the tasks, I needed transition gates. Basically a way to say, okay, this stage is done, move on. So I added an extra camera and built 2 vision triggers, a pouring stop trigger and a cook state estimator for the first side of the pancake. One detail here is that my warped view isn't feeding both triggers at the same time. It's routed by stage. The YOLO segmentation is used as the pouring stop trigger inside Task 1. Segmentation gives me a stable estimate of the batter region, so it works really well for deciding when to stop pouring. For training data, I used Meta's SAM, the segment anything model, to generate mask labels, and then I trained the YOLO segmentation model. Next, the GRU-based cook state estimator runs after Task 1 finishes. It waits, and then decides when the first side is ready, and that's what triggers the start of Task 2. It tracks how visual features change over time, almost like giving the model a short-term memory. That matters because cooking isn't instantaneous. Bubbles form, the surface changes, and I wanted the model to understand that whole progression instead of reacting to a single frame. Finally, the Task 2 to Task 3 transition is handled with a fixed delay. After the flip, it's hard to reliably judge doneness just from the cooked side visually, so I simply wait a set amount of time and then start Task 3. Alright, putting it all together. Waypoint pouring, YOLO stops pouring, GRU triggers the start of flipping, and then a fixed delay transition starts plating. Now let me show you the full end-to-end run. So this is the fun part. I'm not launching 3 separate scripts or clicking through stages. I run one program right here in the terminal, and once it starts, the entire pipeline runs automatically from pouring to flipping to plating all the way to a finished pancake. All right, here we go. This is the YOLO segmentation view. It's basically tracking the batter region in real time. In this run, we're using a warped top-down view so the measurement is consistent. And the trigger is, when the area ratio crosses 0.12, so about 12% of the warped frame, and it stays above that threshold for at least 30 frames, then it tells Task 1, okay, that's enough, cut it. So it's not a single frame spike. It has to be stable before the robot commits. This window is the GRU-based cook state estimator. It watches the pancake over time and decides when it's ready to flip. You'll see states like not ready, almost ready, and ready. And you'll also see this value, conf, short for confidence score. Right now, as you can see, it's not ready. As time passes, that confidence will shift and eventually will move into almost ready. Alright, watch this. This is the interesting part. See how it transitions out of not ready and now it hits almost ready. The confidence changes because the visual cues are evolving bubbles, texture, surface changes, and the GRU is tracking that progression over time, not just one frame. Look at this part. We're dropping out of almost ready and you can tell we're approaching the flip moment. Any second now, it's going to hit ready and the instant it does, task 2 starts. So moving from task 2 to task 3 like I mentioned earlier, this part is currently time-based. In this run, it's set to 30 seconds. So after task 2 finishes, it just waits that fixed duration, then moves on automatically into plating. And done. That was a fully autonomous, end-to-end run one program launch, and the robot takes it from there. Honestly, what makes this wild is, this is running on low-cost hardware, just the LeRobot SO-ARM101 setup. Additionally, it can still adapt when I interrupt it or something goes off script. Now let me show you what that looks like. I'll mess with it mid-run and it'll recover on its own. These are the clips you saw in the intro of this video. I'm interrupting both flipping and plating, and Panbot can look like it's recognizing mistakes or task failures and fixing them. But there isn't a separate recovery function in the code. What you're seeing is the kind of behavior you'd expect from a closed-loop policy with closed-loop visual feedback, as described in Learning Fine-Grained Bimanual Manipulation with Low-Cost Hardware, the paper that introduces ACT. The paper explicitly notes that a closed-loop policy can react to changes in object state, instead of having to precisely anticipate motion in advance. Also, during execution, we query the policy at every time step, so the current observation is continuously incorporated. So when I mess with the pancake and the observation changes, the policy can adjust and replan in response to changes in the environment. That's why it can look like recovery, even without an explicit recovery module. Here's another example from task 3, plating. In this clip, we intentionally undercooked the pancake, so the bottom side is still a bit wet. That makes it stick to the spatula, and it doesn't release cleanly into the bowl. You'll see Panbot keep retrying the release. It repeats the motion until the pancake actually drops. And when I step in and manually unstick it by hand, the moment the pancake lands in the bowl, the policy observes that the placement is complete and returns to its resting pose. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Thank you so much. Bonus clip. Here's a quick behind the scenes of me filming the demonstrations. Recording like 100 datasets was brutal. Thanks again for watching all the way to the end. If you want to dig deeper, The full code, datasets, and models are up on my GitHub and Hugging Face. Go check it out right now.